So I don't follow football, but even I know who Tom Brady is. And last week, Dan called me over to the TV and he said, "You have to see this Tom Brady commercial." And I said, "I really don't. I really don't have to see this Tom Brady commercial." And he said, "No, you really do." And obviously he was right, because otherwise why would I even be mentioning this right now? So I don't know if anybody saw this, but it was about, the theme was sort of be better. Did anybody see this commercial? It's actually worth seeing. You can look at it on YouTube after the holiday. So the whole theme of this commercial is that Tom Brady, in his return back to football after his retirement, is going to work hard to be even better. And so he's got these cute little clips of how he's trying to be better. So in one scene, he's out to dinner with two of his friends, and they both order steak, and he says, "I'll have their parsley." And then in another scene, the waiter says to him, "Do you want dessert?" And he says, "What's dessert?" And I thought a lot about sort of the promise of this video, or the goal of Tom Brady to improve his physical health so he will be even a better football player than he's ever been before. And in our society, we have a million vehicles to improve our physical health. We have health clubs and yoga studios and diets, and I am pretty committed to maintaining my physical health, but I will never be better than I was in my 20s. No matter how hard I work at it, there's really a limited amount of improvement. But Judaism promises us something very different. Every year at this time of year, we think about how we can actually be better. Now, in our tradition, there's a fair amount of time spent debating what does it mean to be a good Jew. There are people that maintain that they can be a good Jew if they follow the laws of social justice and caring for others and caring for the poor. There are some that insist, of course, that it's the ritual law and keeping Shabbat and keeping kosher. Frankly, I hate to break it to you, it's really all of it. But you can find debates in our tradition about what is the definition of a good Jew. And I thought, after seeing that commercial, maybe we're asking the wrong question. The question is not, am I a good Jew, or how to be a good Jew, or the definition of being a good Jew. Maybe we would be better served if we just thought about, how can I be a better Jew? What thing could I do this year that I didn't do last year that would make me a better Jew than I was the year before? And the promise of the high holiday period is that we can be better. Better Jews, more moral, more spiritual. We can add ritual practice to our lives that will make our lives better. And it can start right away. I read a beautiful piece called "The Power of Amen" on Yom Kippur, and I want to share it with you. It was written by Dr. Samuel Liebens. I'm not familiar with his writing. This is the only thing I've ever read of his, but he is the chair of the Association for the Philosophy of Judaism at the University of London. And this is what he writes, and it's about Yom Kippur, but of course it can start this very evening on Erev Rosh Hashanah. The vast majority of Jews, he writes, will be marking Yom Kippur in one way or another. And for many of us, the experience of staring blankly upon a prayer book written in an ancient and unfamiliar language is daunting. But if you can say nothing else, you can say Amen. And you know that in doing so, you have really said it all. Amen, of course, comes from the Hebrew word emunah, which means faith. Right? When the prayer is said, when a blessing is said, you don't actually have to say the blessing. When you hear the blessing, all you have to say is Amen. You are affirming what you just heard, and it is as if you had said the blessing yourself. And so when you say that simple word Amen at services, what are you doing? One, You have committed yourself with that one word to becoming a better Jew. 2, you have accepted upon yourself the consequences of your identity. And 3, you have expressed the prayer that you will live up to your potential and receive abundant blessings in return. Don't look over at those Jews who know what they're doing with the prayer book as they fervently follow each word of the service. Don't let your head hang in shame that you can't muster the appropriate feelings, nor concentrate through a cumbersome liturgy. Know that in the words of our tradition, before the Holy One, blessed be He, there is nothing greater than a Jew that says Amen. That single word, uttered with sincerity, can make the whole day worthwhile. Shana Tova.